Welcome everybody. So today I'd like to welcome Christine Coates, who helps human resource departments and leaders transform their leadership by hiring and engagement strategies and so on to positively impact business results. And she's going to talk about that and the other things she does, including NLP, and also she sells online courses and this thing called Harrison Talent Analytics, which I'm interested to find a bit more about. So welcome to the show, Chrissy.
Thank you.
Okay, so how are you today? Good?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you very much. Yes, and you?
Yes, I'm very good. And you're in Chesterfield, are you? In Derbyshire?
I am, yeah, in sunny or not so sunny Derbyshire today.
Ah, that's lovely. And that's the town with the crooked spire, isn't it?
That's the one.
Yeah, I know. I have been past it. Okay, so so would you, well, first of all, like to just tell us your story, how you got to be where you are today in your business and career and so on?
Yeah, so I started off my career working for Woolworths.
Oh.
So I was the Saturday girl who started out on the pick and mix counter.
Okay.
And I ended up becoming a store manager for Woolworths. And half of my kind of corporate career, so most of my life has been in corporate world. Half of my corporate career was running various store size stores for Woolworths. So worked my way up literally from Saturday girl to a large city centre store manager. Wow. So absolutely loved it. Loved the operational side of it, and but also loved the people development side of it. And so as I progressed through my career, my intention always was to be kind of like an area manager next, and then a regional manager, and stay in the operational side of things. But as I kind of progressed through my career, the bit of the job that I really loved, that really kind of pulled me, was the people development side of it.
Sure.
So training, people that I had within the stores that I worked in, and I also supported kind of people that were new into the business. So new store managers and new area managers would come into my store and kind of learn what it was like to run a Woolworths store. So that was a bit that really, really sort of fueled my fire, if you like. And when I got an opportunity to take a secondment into the training team in head office, I took it. And whilst I was out on that secondment, we had a restructure and some positions came up in the training team, of which I applied for, and then began the kind of the second half of my career, which was around the learning and development role in head office. So
for the Woolworths head office, you'll do courses for people all over the country to come and sort of...
Yeah, so I was responsible for, so I was National Learning and Development Manager, so I was responsible for the business as usual training from colleagues through to area managers. So what do they need day to day? And then also high potential programs. So those guys that had the aspiration to become something, the next stage in their career, I designed and delivered the development programs for those smaller store managers that wanted to be large store managers that wanted to be area managers, and area managers that wanted to be regional managers, and so on.
So I was just saying, well, my own background is that I used to be a chartered accountant working in industry. So I worked for a variety of different corporate companies, and most of them did not bother investing any money in developing their staff at all. But I did work for Canon, who make Canon cameras, their head office in Amsterdam, and they were, I think, about the only, well, that and one other company, they were the main one that actually bothered sending people on courses, and they did actually send me away for a few days on this sort of management course, which was actually really good fun. And I remember we had this job to do where we had to, I don't know, just a simple thing. We had to put things together and something, and I was in charge, and I kept on having to manage them. And I got the feedback that I was too bossy. I was too focused on getting the job done, apparently, to the exclusion of keeping everything calm.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting, and I know they also did courses on public speaking, presentation skills and that sort of thing. So I think it was very useful, and I think probably more companies should do it. But I think most companies tend to be quite short-sighted, don't they? They just see it as an extra overhead that they can't afford.
Yeah, and you know, leadership development, management development stuff is stuff that tends to take time as well. So you might go on a course.
Yeah.
Actually, behaviours and mindsets take time to change. You
Sure.
don't just come off a course and be the finished article.
Yeah.
And that, you know, sometimes is where, you know, some companies are a bit short-sighted because they don't see the immediate return on their investment.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a toss-up between, if we're not going to see the return, why do we do it? Because we're doing okay at the moment.
So it's an ongoing series of courses with sort of some sort of monitoring by the HR department. Is that what you would recommend?
Yeah. So you know, if you're going to help people change behaviours and help them improve,
Yeah.
you absolutely need the buy-in of the key stakeholders. So that individual's line manager,
Yeah.
you know, the HR team, who else in their kind of their support sphere, if you like, can you involve to get them involved in the feedback, to be there when they need help and support, to be a mentor for them. So it is very much around, you know, with a development program, getting all the parties that are going to touch that individual to be involved and recognise their part in developing them, because it's not about sending somebody on a course,
Yeah.
and saying, you know, to the course deliverer, well, you know, you're going to make my manager a better manager today, because that's not what it's all about. We can give them, you know, instruction, direction, advice, maybe hold up the mirror, challenge a few perceptions and beliefs and you know, behaviours, and give them some skills. But actually, the real stuff starts when you go back into the day job.
Yeah.
And you try it out and you get it right, or you try it out and you get it wrong. And what do you learn from that? And the support, as I say, that you've got around you is really crucial in helping people with that.
Sure. Okay, so let's get back to so I sort of sidetracked you a bit. So let's get back. So you're working for Woolworths. So by the way, Woolworths, have they sort of gone bust now, or so? Or they're still going?
No, they went into administration in
Administration.
January
Yeah.
2009.
2009.
2009, yeah,
So 11 years ago. Yeah, I thought I hadn't seen them around. Yeah.
a
So
long time. Yeah, yeah,
okay, but they were massive. I remember in my youth, they were really massive, weren't they? They're one of the
yeah.
biggest shops in the high street. And anyway, so you were involved in the national sort of training for them, and then what happened?
So when Woolworths went into administration and then obviously closed subsequently,
Yes.
I was just about going into my 9th month of pregnancy, actually, so it didn't come at the best the best
Right.
time.
Yeah.
So I took a year off on maternity with my son,
Yeah.
and then decided to set myself up in my own business,
Okay.
primarily doing a lot of the stuff that I'd done as National Learning and Development Manager with Woolies.
Yes.
So very much kind of offering coaching, bespoke development solutions, to help individuals and organisations develop those people,
Yes.
that wanted to you know, be the leaders of the future.
Okay. So obviously, your training was for a massive retail company, but presumably your sort of clients now, are they a lot of them much smaller than that?
It's a mix, to be honest. I'm working with individuals,
Yes.
so people that are just looking to either on a personal level change something within themselves, or you know, develop something within themselves,
Okay.
or with individuals within larger organisations to support them with some of the leadership stuff, leadership skills, leadership behaviours that they want to get better at. But equally, I am working with bigger organisations as well on more kind of broader projects.
So some of your clients are individuals
Yeah.
who you know, maybe work in a company, and they realise that their career would be better, or that they could do their job more effectively if they hired you to train them to develop more sort of leadership skills and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think I'd probably benefited from that back in the day when I was younger and having, you know, a few challenges at work. So, because it can be quite difficult to work, can't it, with everyone trying to
Absolutely.
pour lots of work on you and all this stress and pressure, and then your staff don't necessarily do as they're told, then you can be sort of stuck in the middle, being squashed from all sides.
Yeah, yeah, and quite often the way people respond to us is often down to our own the way we approach things, or the way that we believe things to be. So sometimes kind of like that, we get the results that we don't necessarily want, but it's due to our own behaviour and the way that we're treating
Sure.
people. So sometimes having a coach or working with somebody to just really think about, so what am I doing? What's my role in the results that I'm getting?
Yeah.
And actually, what if I did something differently? Would that get me different results, or more effective results?
Yes, and I imagine there's two by changing your behavior. I suppose it has two effects. One is it can reduce your own stress and make it a lot more satisfying, which is probably the most important thing. But also it can sort of change how other people relate to you. They might treat you with more respect, for example.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of what I do is really all around helping people raise their awareness of where they're at.
Yeah.
So where are they strong, where are their strengths, where are their development gaps, and helping them really think through what are the blockers, what are the things that are getting in the way, and trying to unpick some of the reasons for that. And sometimes it's because we don't have a skill. We've never had the training, or never realized that it was kind of getting in the way that it is. Sometimes it's just about the beliefs that we hold around what we do. So kind of helping people unpick those beliefs and do something differently as a result is the thing that makes the difference. So everybody's different, and that's the beauty of it, really. It's great to work with people because everybody's different.
I know, I can imagine. And I think also a lot of the time at work we tend to be relatively unconscious as well. We just sort of carry on doing the job and reacting to people. And you mentioned raising awareness, and I think that's something that naturally happens when you talk to a coach. You're just in the process of those conversations where you just try and ask them about, what exactly happened and what were you thinking, and what was that the best response and everything. Just by having those conversations, that just makes them more aware. So the next time they're in a similar situation, they'll already be a bit more aware and a bit less reactive.
Absolutely, and I'm a great believer in awareness. Raising awareness gives us better choices.
Yeah.
If you're unaware, you're probably going to carry on doing the thing in the way that you did.
Definitely.
Even if you don't do anything differently, but you bring it to your awareness, at least that gives you a choice to recognize it and say, well, okay, I'm choosing now to do something differently, or I'm choosing now to carry on in the same way.
Okay, so that's so since 2009 you've sort of been doing that, and also in the meantime you've started taking on these new methodologies like this Harrison talent analytics and NLP as well. Is that right?
Yes, so I trained, so I'm an NLP master practitioner. I trained to do that whilst I was still within Woolworths. So I did my practitioner, master practitioner, and NLP coaching training actually with as part of kind of being national development manager with those guys.
Yeah.
And it's just something. It's tools and techniques that I build into how I coach.
Yes.
The training courses that I run, the development things that I run with people, because there's just some really valuable tools, techniques, ways of thinking, ways of approaching things that can really help people just think about things in a different way. I think about things and do things in a way that will really make a difference to their personal performance and therefore the performance of their team.
Sure. I actually did the NLP Masters Practitioner training as well.
Okay.
And, I found it very, very useful as well, just to give different insights into how our mind works and also how we can, influence and help other people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I went on it for personal reasons, and because I just kind of wanted. Well, no, actually, I went on it. For business reasons, because I wanted to use it. Something I can learn and how to use it at work. But actually, personally, I got so much out of it.
Sure, yeah.
So much more than I was expecting. So yeah, I'd recommend anybody to do NLP training. I love it.
Okay. All right, that's great. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to share my screen.
Okay.
And we'll just look at some of your internet assets. So, well, you mentioned well, this is your LinkedIn page, which we actually met through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So I think you've got two pages, have you? So you've got, or have you just got, have you got a page for you transition as well?
I think LinkedIn have created that page because I've not created that.
You've not created that. It
No.
doesn't actually, no, actually, I think that just goes, that's the same page. It just goes to,
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
goes down to that. So you've just got the one page, which is
Yeah.
fine. That's sort of, yeah, what I do as well. So this is, and here you've got your posts, your featured posts and so on, and are you also involved in BNI,
Yes. Yeah.
committee member?
Yeah. And
Okay.
being
So
a
is that how you get some of your clients through BNI then?
some of the clients, yeah, yeah. I mean, most of my clients overall come through, excuse me, come through referral, not necessarily BNI, but through people that I know or have worked with or have used me kind of previously. So most of it is word of mouth.
Okay. So you're not, yeah, okay. So now with BNI, do you have to get up early to breakfast?
Yeah, ours is a breakfast.
That's always put me off, to be honest. Well, because I work from home, if I went to work and had to get up early anyway, it might be different. But
Yeah, it's great at the moment because we're all on
yes,
Zoom, so
on
we
Zoom.
literally get up, roll out of bed, and there we are in front of the laptop. But yeah, when we do meet, it's a 7 o'clock start.
Wow. Okay. But I suppose you have to be. It has to be really, hasn't it, to fit in with everyone's day? Because otherwise, you'd never get a time where they're all free.
No, I mean some of our chapters do meet at 10, so we've got some that kind of do a mid morning.
Okay. And BNI Enterprise, that's just the name for your local chapter.
That's the, yeah, yeah. So we're well, when we can, based up at Peak Edge Hotel in Chesterfield.
Okay. So this is the Harrison Assessments page. So can you tell us a bit about who they are and how you fit in with them?
Yeah, so I'm a Harrison consultant partner, and so what that means is I've worked, done the training with them to use their products, and I use their products to really enhance my training courses, my coaching, and in essence, as it says there, Harrison Assessments is a predictive analytics tool that helps organisations, small and large, to cost effectively and time efficiently acquire, develop, lead and engage their people. So there's lots of different elements of it. You can use them all together. So you can take an employee through the whole life cycle from kind of pre-hire through to onboarding and developing them and then career succession. Or you can use each of the elements independently. So you could only use recruitment if you wanted to. You could only use development reports or career succession planning and so on. But it has underlying analytics which are really valuable to an organisation in terms of helping it understand its people in data formats. So what it will show you is where your strengths are as an organisation around specific behaviours and competencies, where your development gaps are, and allow you to kind of then really focus your strategies and policies even based on your training agendas and therefore your budgets much more effectively because of the data that it kind of provides. So it's valuable.
So you've got like a separate file for each person or each key person above a certain level. Is that right? And then you have the bioanalytics. Is that you sort of judge, well, on this skill set they've got 7 out of 10? Is that how it works?
How do I explain how it works? So Harrison measures behaviours.
Okay.
And it measures them based on two theories, enjoyment performance theory and paradox theory. Okay. And when you complete the online questionnaire, what it does is basically it gives each behaviour a score. So what you can then do is you can run an individual against basically a job specification, and you essentially capture the scores for over 175 different traits and other factors. So what that gives you is data across 175 factors by individual that you can then cut and splice and interpret any way you want. So for example, if you use it on an individual level, what you can do is use it to help that individual work out where their strengths are, when those strengths are serving them, when those strengths might be potential derailers, and also where the development gaps and opportunities are. And you can also do that against a role. So if somebody's wanting to progress, say somebody wanted to be a managing director, we can take the job template for a managing director and create a development plan from now to 3 years, 5 years, or whatever it is that they want for that path. If you are assessing a team or an organisation as a whole, you can literally take all those individuals that you've assessed, take all the analytics for that team or that organisation, and then cut and splice that data. So we have done it by competencies. So we've taken leadership competencies, for example, for a group of people, and we've been able to show where that whole leadership team is really strong, and where maybe they've got development gaps. That in turn can inform individual coaching for the people within that team, but it can also then give you direction as to where perhaps your training and development agenda needs to focus to fill those gaps. So for example, if your senior team is lacking as a whole in strategy development, then you could then go and create a course or create a solution, whatever that looks like, to help fill those gaps for that population overall.
Okay, so are these the same thing as psychometric tests?
Yes, yeah, it is in essence.
This
but
is
it doesn't
specialised.
measure,
This is a certain form of psychometric tests.
yeah, so it doesn't measure personality. It measures excellence from a behavioural perspective. So it's not about measuring personality.
Okay, which some psychometric tests do measure.
Yeah.
Okay, but this one doesn't. But it does mention. It does measure behaviour.
Measures behaviours, and it measures interests and work environment preferences and retention and engagement.
That's interesting, the difference between behaviour and personality, because how do you measure? I mean, isn't someone's personality, don't you sort of see that in the way that they behave? Aren't they inextricably linked?
Yeah, so personality is kind of who you are.
Yeah.
Behaviours are very much more about what you do.
Yes.
So a personality assessment, generally speaking, it's a huge generalisation there, but generally speaking, your personality doesn't tend to change over time unless you've had a major kind of life-changing incident.
Okay. Yeah.
So with a behavioural assessment, because of the analytics that sit behind it, it also therefore makes it measurable, because if you look at the behaviours you're scoring against now, and you focus on developing those particular areas without changing your personality, so it's just focusing on changing those behaviours, the next time you take the assessment, you should see a change in score positively.
Yes, because obviously, because it's sort of impossible to change someone's personality, and also it's not that important, because if you change their behaviour, then that changes, the way that they work, how they interact with other people, and also change their inner mental states as well to make them happier and so on. So that's easier to do, and also it's easier to measure, which is crucial, because that's what is based on measuring people.
And the real specific thing about Harrison is it's job centric. So it's very, a personality assessment is about you as a person.
Yes.
Whereas Harrison and the theories that kind of underpin it are all around what makes people successful within the workplace.
Yes.
So you can use it on its own, and I actually do use it on its own from a personal development perspective.
Right.
But you can absolutely measure it, and this is where it really comes into its own, when you can measure it against specific jobs, and predict somebody's success or likely success within that job role because of the analytics that are there.
And does it rely, if people fill out psychometric tests, I think I've done them before, and they've always told me that it's impossible to fake them. Is that really true?
With this one, yes.
Yes,
So in fact, I gave some feedback to somebody yesterday, and his reliability score came out really high. And he said to me, he goes, I'm glad that's happened, because the first time I completed it told me I was, but he basically told him to take the questionnaire again, because he'd obviously, I don't know what he'd done, but there are 8,000 cross checks that go on in the background of this assessment as you're completing it. So it knows if you've taken too long, you're not taking enough time. It measures and ranks your consistency in terms of how you're ranking things and scoring things. So yeah, there is a built-in lie detector, I guess, for want of a better word. It knows when you're trying to fudge it and not be honest.
Okay, and how long does it take to do this test?
About 25 minutes. So it's not long.
And can anyone, so you can't just go online and do it as such, you have to sort of buy the test, do you? Or?
No, the test, to complete the test is free.
Okay.
But to have the reports is where the cost comes in.
Okay. So could I go onto this website and just click on something and do it? I'm not saying I'm going to. But
no, you need to request it through me. So you can go onto the website and request that me.
So that's book demo. Is that what you do, or?
Sorry.
What do you click on book demo? If someone wanted to do the test, one of our viewers, what would they do?
On the Harrison website.
Yes.
Yeah, there's without looking at the page, I can't remember exactly what it's called.
Oh, you can't see. Sorry.
No, you've stopped
me. I should get back. There you go.
There's a contact page.
It's learn more or book demo, or.
Yeah, when you click on one of those links, it brings a little pop-up box. Click on book demo, and it should bring a pop-up box to fill out. That's the one.
And that goes to you.
And that goes to me, and then I can find out what it is that you're interested in, and send you the link to the questionnaire.
Okay, and the same. So if we go onto your site, you don't have. Do you link to that here, or do they just click on contact us?
Just click on contact us and tell me what you're interested in.
Because this is okay. So we've just been talking about Harrison assessments, their psychometric testing that they use and so on. But your own site sort of includes that methodology, but also includes other things as well, like bespoke solutions and NLP and that sort of thing. Yeah.
So I use Harrison assessments very much as part of what I do. So if I'm coaching somebody, for example, that there are a couple of the reports within Harrison that I would just automatically use for coaching, because they are so valuable in terms of raising somebody's awareness. So people would come to me for the coaching package, if you like. But I automatically use some of the Harrison reports, certainly as the initial stage, and then as we go through, depending on where the client wants to go, I may then bring in other reports as appropriate if I feel they're going to be supportive for them. Okay,
and you've also got this online training academy.
Yeah, so I've got a range of 80 or so online training courses. Generally three kind of key areas. So we've got health and safety, health and social care, and then business skills.
So these are ones that you're reselling, are you, from Harrison? Yes.
No, they're not Harrison courses. Oh. They're just generic.
Okay. Just curious, because I'm thinking of developing a course. So you develop it, so you have to register your account, and then you get the free module, and then you can decide if you want to.
So that's or you can buy a course direct without creating the free course. So if you click on the buy now button, you can go straight in and buy.
Yes. Okay.
That particular course.
But based on this description, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Great. And also, this is your Facebook page,
Yeah.
but you're saying it's maybe not as active as your LinkedIn page.
No, I'm a bit hit and miss with Facebook.
Okay, so you don't tend to. Mostly people connect with you on LinkedIn or
Yeah.
through word of mouth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, is there? I've certainly learnt a lot about because it's a whole different world. I mean, I can see that it can be quite useful, and I'm also wondering, what would you do if like the whole department's a bit dysfunctional, if there's a bit of infighting and people being, trying to, on power trips, trying to undermine others and that sort of thing. I mean, do you get involved in sorting out those sort of problems?
From a development perspective, yeah.
I mean, obviously, it happens in any company, I think. And obviously at Woolworths, you must have faced situations like that. So, yeah. So, how would you deal with something like that?
So obviously, every situation is unique, and I would kind of treat every situation on its own merit. So very much talk to the team leader or whoever it is that is bringing me into the organisation. To have the concern addressed, find out what it is that they want as an outcome. Then I'd sit with the team, and then the solution that I design would be very much bespoke to that team and that organisation. But generally, I would use Harrison assessments as part of that, because there's some very key reports in there that if the whole team completes that assessment, they'll get individual insight for themselves, so they'll understand what it is about themselves, that perhaps is inflaming the situation or, fueling the fire, as it were.
Yeah.
And then there's some reports in the system that we can use to do a team activity as well. So it's very much about understand yourself, understand the impact of what you're doing, and how you're coming across, being perceived by the other team. And your responsibility and accountability in changing and taking ownership for your part of it. But then there's stuff we can do with the team to get them all together and get them all kind of sharing and building trust and opening up with each other. And because trust is kind of the key, really.
Sure.
Building those relationships to then help them work through some of the difficulties and challenges that they're having.
So they'll like sort of sit around in a circle and sort of share their own experience, and then they sort of understand, what other people are experiencing, and then that helps them see a bit more from the other person's point of view.
Yeah, so it's usually quite interactive, and I like to get people up and kind of doing stuff rather than just being sat around talking. Although obviously that does have its merits.
Like working together on a project or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of teams can benefit from that. All right, so so we'll probably wind up soon. Is there anything else you want to say before we go?
No, other than if anybody wants to chat, then please connect with me on LinkedIn and drop me a message. I'll be more than happy to.
Yeah, so I'll tag you into this on LinkedIn. So it's actually Coach Talent Development Leadership. Is that your LinkedIn handle?
Yeah. Okay. So I went on some training actually, and somebody told me that instead of having your name, if you put tag words in the
so it would come up with you. If I type in Coach Talent Development, it might come up with you.
Yeah.
That makes it hard if I'm actually trying to find you, doesn't it?
Yeah, but if somebody's looking for coach, then generally I should pop up in the search, or talent development, I should pop up in the search, hopefully.
All right, so they either come to that or they can go to utransitionconsulting.com.
Yeah.
You just as in the letter U. Yeah. Yes. All right, that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been lovely speaking to you, and I've learnt a lot. yeah, I wish you all the best, and hopefully our viewers will find this very interesting as well.
Lovely. No, thanks
Bye.
very much, Keith. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, bye for now.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.